So I grinded to level 100 in Bark Souls and completed the game in only 2 hours.
What? Oh, sorry. Wasn't listening. Chris is leading us to find who the f*** asked.
Would you stab your best friend in the leg for 10 million gold?
You stab me, and then when my leg gets better, we'll buy a big house.
You stabbed me too, and we'll have 20 million.
Good thinking.
Are you a gamer, Birdly?
Absolutely.
Then will you capture all your friends and boil them into acid, try to stab them multiple times, and corrupt an entire cyber city?
As long as you're a gamer.
There's a light inside your soul that's still shining in the cold.
Well, that was a lie.
And so it begins, new thing, a lot of things finally being recorded after like a year of being announced. Oh yeah!
That's the difference between you and I, Ralph. I am an alpha gamer. I take Andrew Tate's Hustler Academy. Andrew Tate Senpai!
Okay, here we go with my obnoxious queen voice. Woo!
Let's see, literally hits him with an axe. I'm gonna do some effort noise for that. Cat. Sorry if you can hear my cat. She's screaming outside the door because she wants to be included. No.
These deals are so good they'll blow your mind like Japan in World War II. What the f***?
Oh, here's some pretty cool bananas.
Nope, I know what I said. And still to this day, a hole remains in the bottom of my stomach, forever unfilled.
Here, and then we just... That's not even mentally or physically possible.
Hello, Spamton. I'm your new neighbor.
God, what the f*** am I doing?
Which was determined from its older we're not gonna use that take. Which was determined from its older
I don't want to hear any of it, you Rudolph the Red-Nosed Rain.
Don't look at me. Look at Birdie. Ugh, Birdie. Birdie, that's not his name.
Then will you try to capture all of your friends? Then will you try to capture all of your friends and boil them into acid? Then will you try?
Huh? What do you mean, Mr. Jet?
Oh my god! Oh my god!
Hey everyone, Revtrocity here. Hope you enjoyed the bonus requests and the outtakes. I wanted to try something different for the end, or the back end of this video. I'm sure a lot of you are wondering why the remainder of this thing is so long. I've wanted to do something I've wanted to do for a while now, and that's sort of break down the saying a lot of things creative process, how I go about doing these videos. And if this interests you in any sort of way, feel free to keep watching. I'm just doing this primarily in case you want to know how I do this, or if you're making your own saying a lot of things, and if you're looking for inspiration. I feel like this would be a pretty neat extension of the video. So what I'm gonna do for you all is give you a little developer commentary of sorts of how I did saying a lot of things as Deltarune characters. Give you some juicy little tidbits, some trivia, some certain roadblocks and hurdles or things I was excited about. Just generally talking about developing this video and my thoughts on how it came out. So hope you enjoy. So let's get into a couple of details about how I made this thing. So the first thing I want to talk about are the requests themselves. People always ask me, how do you pick requests? Like, what do you do to figure out which one you want to put in the video? Typically speaking, I just pick whatever request is funny to me, or I pick a request and then later down the line, I will find a request that I think matches one that I did before. Like, oh, this would work very well if I tied it into this one, or if I played this over this one. And that's how I typically select requests. As far as how many I choose, my magic number tends to lay somewhere around 50. That'll give you the runtime of saying a lot of things as Sans, or saying a lot of things as Flowey, etc. Of course, there are exceptions. Saying a lot of things as Rules Card had about 50, I think. But I'm sure doing the entire Heavy is Dead skit bumped that up about 2 to 3 more minutes. Usually with videos that are special occasions, I tend to go a bit higher. such as saying a lot of things as Jevil Part 3 and saying a lot of things as Undertale characters. For this one, though, I took, if I remember correctly, 74 requests. I think that's roughly the number. But yeah, it's definitely a bit more than 50. Typically, I want to try and get videos like this that are special above the 10-minute mark. But that's typically what I do for suggestions. And speaking of the requests, I did want to talk more specifically about a couple of them in this video. The first one I want to talk about being the very first request. The one where Sans is saying, "How's it going, Junior?" Because originally I had recorded this one as it was presented. I said, "How's it going, son?" instead of "How's it going, Junior?" And I didn't think too much about it. But when I previewed the audio to Tumblr to tease the video, it was brought to my attention that I should have referred to them through non-binary pronouns, since Chris is non-binary. It was something that didn't exactly cross my mind, and I do apologize for that. I was very fortunate that people pointed this out to me and said, "Hey, you should be calling Chris by non-binary pronouns." I even asked around a couple of my friends, and they said, "Yeah, you should probably change that." So I'm sorry. I'm going to try and do better, not to refer to Chris as a male. I'm going to try and refer to the non-binary from here forward. I did, however, fix my mistake before it was too late. I was at a Waffle House, funnily enough, and I was sitting at the bar waiting for my food when I realized, wait, I could call them Junior, and that would get the same point across. I got back from Waffle House, got into the booth, recorded that one line of Sans, replaced the previous line, and the problem was solved. So thankfully, I caught that problem before it was cemented forever. So again, I apologize. I really should not have been doing that, and I'm glad people brought it to my attention, and I'm sorry. That was a massive oversight on my part. So another request I wanted to talk about was one towards the very end. I think it was the second to last request, actually. I did a little oopsie. I misread what the prompt was telling me to do. But when I read the request, I saw I am not in an effing wheelchair. I can do anything. BFG division. And I thought to myself, oh, that's funny. Susie's doom-girling her way into going after Jevil. And I thought that was hilarious. So when I got to that request, I went to Epidemic Sounds, not sponsored by the way, found some really awesome laser sound effects, and I added this whole landscape, this whole soundscape, I mean. And I was really proud of myself. I thought I went really ham on it. It wasn't until I started chopping the request up into individual lines that I realized it said Susie is chasing Jevil with her axe, not any sort of BFG or gun from Doom. I was a little disappointed because I worked so hard on creating that soundscape only to have realized I misread the prompt. So I could either A, get rid of all the hard work that I put in and make the request accurate sounds with the axe sound effects, or B, the one that you all heard, be too lazy to do that and keep everything that I did in. And that's what I ultimately did, because even though I could download the sound effects on YouTube, I have a file of 151 Deltarune sound effects from Chapter 1, and going through it to find the right sound effect sounds like this. And I just patiently wait until I hear the right one, and then I put that in the video. I didn't want to have to go through that again. I know it could have been more efficient to find the sound effects on YouTube and just get them individually, so I just kept it in. I'm very sorry that I completely misread that prompt. I hope this is a fair trade-off, though. I think I went pretty hard on that request, so hopefully I'm forgiven, I guess? Hopefully? Maybe? Now, of course, I have to talk about the fact that I got Alex Rochon, I know I probably said it wrong and I'm so sorry, to be a part of this video. This had been a dream collab I've wanted ever since I announced this thing like a year ago. Like, there is no one I could have envisioned being Spamton for this thing than him. Like, I mean, he is the Spamton. There's just no debate. He was the first and he is the best. Like, he is the fan canon Spamton voice in the same way that people consider me the fan cannon Jevil voice. So I figured having the fan cannon Jevil interacting with the fan cannon Spamton is like the Deltarune crossover event of the century. When it came time to editing Alex's lines, I was nervous. I'm not gonna lie to you. I know how beloved he is in this community, and I did not want to fudge him up. Luckily, he delivered. Alex is an absolutely fantastic voice actor. His lines when I was editing them were consistently hilarious. They were amazing. I loved them. And I think saying a lot of things to Spamton was my favorite part of the video because of his voiceover performance, because all I needed to do was compliment his great performance with my editing, which made my job very easy. It made it actually more fun. But yeah, this was super awesome to have him on. Thank you, Alex, if you're watching this. I'm just saying, if there's ever a Jevil Spamton fanfic out there, and you need a Jevil to read it, I'm your guy. Also, while we're on the topic of voice actors, I do want to give a big shout out to the B.A.M.F of this video, and that is the Susie voice actress for this thing, Cello Chiquita. I had initially gotten Cello to be just Toriel for this thing. Her contribution was just going to be 2 lines to this video, and I had someone else entirely to play Susie, but she couldn't make it. I had to ask Cello to be my emergency Susie, and she said she was up for it. And yeah, she was a lifesaver. She got those lines in so quick that I was able to get this video done by the deadline. I hope to have this thing out by October 31st, but that's when I set the premiere, but you know, it is what it is. Either way, she did get the lines in very fast, and she did do a fantastic job as Susie. So big shout out to Cello. Also a similar shout out to 76 Blades, who played Task Manager. I asked her to be Task because, again, that line was going to be given to my Susie voice actress. And I think she sent them in so fast that on the day I asked, she had already sent in her line. So shout out to her too. Next, I gotta mention, even though I'm thankful I get to voice KK, I gotta talk about the nightmare that is Sweet's vocal filter. So when I made the voice test for Sweet Cap and Cakes, it was literally the day after Deltarune Chapter 2 came out, and I was in a rush to try and figure out a voice so I could capitalize on the hype train. So I found this preset called Shortwave Radio on my editing software, Final Cut Pro 10, and I just slapped it on there and called it a day, which is fine. I think it sounds good. I like how it oscillates, I guess, but there are some gripes I have with it though. Chief among them being that at the start of every single line Sweet says, there is this beep. And I'm not sure if you've noticed it, it's pretty audible, but I hate hearing it every single time his line starts. Like, if I could just have the filter by itself without that beep, it would be fantastic. And no matter what I do with the preset, I can't figure out a way to make it go away. It's just stuck there. Also, another big thing that I hate about Sweet's vocal filter is that it's weird whenever you're editing. Like, you can play the video at any point while you're editing things together, but it will oscillate or like it'll fluctuate in weird ways, different ways, no matter where you play it. Like sometimes it'll just get very quiet. Sometimes it'll just jack up the low end frequencies, and it's just unreliable to really tell how it's gonna sound in the final render. I haven't ironed it all out yet. I really want to change Sweet's voice because I really want to change Sweet's voice. That's all I needed to say. That's the moral of the story. I really want to change Sweet's voice. Another little irritation I had was when I rendered the video the first time, it corrupted the Spamton Gif you see before the saying a lot of things to Spamton bit. That effect that it does, I did not do that. That is completely accidental, the way that Spamton's GIF just kind of like stops at certain points. I'm very lucky, however, that Spamton's whole character is that he is a glitchy, bug-ridden mess. So not only did this accident not cause any problems, but it actually benefited the video. So, happy accident, I guess. It actually added to the video to have Spamton's GIF corrupted. Had this been any other character, I would have been mad. Also, did you notice that I have a new explosion? Yes, so even though this video did not need to have an explosion, I ad-libbed a part where I thought an explosion would really help with the cannonball thing with rules. And I did not want to keep using that house exploding one that I've been using over and over again. I feel like I've milked that one dry. So I, as a creator, made a new one from scratch. Now, I knew what the visual component needed to be. I knew that I wanted the Metal Gear Rising Revengeance explosion, where Senator Armstrong punches Raiden so hard that he explodes the mech that they're on top of. I knew that had to be the visual, but then I had to find a better suited sound for it, because the sound in that game, I don't think would have worked if I had just jacked the frequency up from there. Maybe it could have, but it just wouldn't have the same punch. So, again, not sponsored, I went to Epidemic Sounds and looked up some explosion sound effects, and I think the one that I wound up settling on was, I believe it's called Mortar Explosion 2, which sounds like this. So I got that sound, I imported it into my editing software, I slapped a plugin called Distortion on it, I changed the preset to Over Limit, and now this is what it sounds like. So then you take that and then you put it over the visuals and you have this glorious little thing I created. Perfect for comedic timing and emphasis. Yeah! And then the last thing I have to talk about is the thumbnail for this video. So I did something a little unique with this video. I mean, I say unique, but I did it before. In case you didn't know, Ray Leanne, my longtime artist friend, has made the thumbnail for this video. And I had a vision in mind, but I didn't know if my description of it came across 100% perfectly. What I did was I made a rough sketch of the thumbnail on my own. Here's a picture of what that looked like. Here's my sketch of the thumbnail. Drew some arrows indicating little pointers on what I want in the background, specific details. And to Rayleigh, that actually helped a ton in trying to create the thumbnail. And so she refined it, and this was the product that she wound up creating. It was sort of like a Toby Temmie situation where, you know, everyone knows that Toby writes concept art and then Temmie refines it. I did this before, also. I did this with Death of a Salesman. That is what Rayleigh did for the art for it. This is my drawing. This was my first attempt at making a thumbnail, and my art is not really that good, as you can see. Ignore the fact that Swatch's eyes are tiny, his nose is long, and that Spamton has 4 sets of teeth and what looks like one gigantic arm. This really helped Rayleigh into getting the art right, and I actually had fun drawing this stuff. It really helped accurately portray what I wanted for the video. Anyway, thank you for listening to this thing for this long. Again, this is the first time I've done something like this. Don't know if I'm gonna keep doing it. Since you've all been waiting an eternity for this video, I thought I would end this thing on something a bit special, but that's the last thing I wanted to say. Thank you all so much for watching. Hope you enjoyed this commentary. And I guess I'll see you in the next one. Have a good day.